Agree with Alan Greenspan, we ought to just eliminate the debt ceiling. Oh, absolutely, we do.
The ability of almost every working American to access more credit than they should have been able to masked the underlying fact that lower and middle class incomes were not rising.
That's not a tenable strategy. Isn't now the time to eliminate it? Oh, we've been a long time ago.
Let's put aside terrorism. Let's talk only about our own homegrown animals that are patrolling America right now. So it goes down to the simplest thing. Be prepared, be vigilant.
My nation, my nation. Many happy returns. Many happy returns into, you know what, I'm happy. I'm happy in the nation. I know there are a lot of enemies within the nation. I know there are a lot of unhappy people within the nation. There are a lot of unhappy people because we have seen things today. We have seen things in recent days that have just... There are things we've been asking for. There are things we've been asking for. The thinking American has been asking for. Not the conservative American, not the right-wing American, not the mean, privileged white American. No. In our heart of hearts, we've been asking for the defunding of sanctuary cities. How could you? We've been asking for a way to get control of immigration. That's what the travel ban is about. You could say the travel ban's about being racist against Muslims, and I think we're all pretty much hip to that, right? It's not about being terrified about the terrorists coming into the nation. That's not the majority of the issue. Defunding sanctuary cities is also not as much about the terrible cases like Kate Steinle. Not as much about that. For many of us, it's about immigration. Why? And you hear a lot of people talk about, oh, you're a nation of immigrants. We're a nation of immigrants. You're an immigrant. The only people who aren't immigrants are Native Americans. And look what you did to the Native Americans. Here's the issue. This is my issue with immigration. And this is everybody with a brains issue with immigration. And on the birthday of this nation, of this great nation, which is unapologetically the greatest nation. What have we done? Have we done some bad stuff? Yeah, okay. I think it pales in comparison to the good we've done for the world. And if you're going to object to that, I don't know what to tell you. And I don't just mean the government. You know, a lot of people get wrapped up in the idea that America's done great things and America's done terrible things with their military. And they, you know, well, we also pump billions of dollars in taxpayer money, the government does, into places like Africa and other nations. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about innovation. I'm talking about the quality of human being and the quality of experience that comes out of America and how it influences the world. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about American people. I'm talking about Western civilization. I'm talking about nationalistic pride. Yes, it's here. You can't stop it. You shouldn't want to stop it. What's the big deal? We live in the greatest nation in the world. You don't have to apologize about it. You don't have to get upset about it. You don't have to be nervous about saying it out loud. It's what it is. It's the greatest nation in the world. There's no getting around it. There's no arguing the fact. None. There's nothing. But when you see things happening, like those that are happening in Illinois, that's when people start getting upset about immigration. You think immigration's about brown people and about white people being worried about machete attacks and all that? I got news for you. We'll figure out how to defend ourselves. Trust me on that one, okay? We will not go quietly into the night. Do you get the reference? Honestly, we'll not go quietly into the night. This isn't London, okay? This isn't the UK. For many, many, many reasons, The people who fled the United Kingdom created this nation, and the people who left their countries to come to this nation in the early days, before they came here to get welfare, before they came here to blow people up, before they came here to run away from their terrifying nation, they came here because they liked that sentiment. That sentiment that was, fuck the royalty. I'm leaving this behind to go do what I want to do and live the way I want to live. That's what the colonies were about. Right? That's what the colonies were about. I'm going to worship the way I want to worship. You can go to hell, you and your crown. I'm going to forge my own path through this wilderness. I'm going to fight these red men. I'm going to all that. Oh, red men. I'm just using the lingo of the past, okay? Don't cry. I'm going to forge my way to the other side of this unknown landmass, right? Pioneers. That's what this nation is made of. This nation isn't made of the people who were left behind in Britain, who let the government take their gun rights away and never gave them the freedom of speech. But I'm not here to pick on the UK, okay? They lost, we won, whatever. Years and years ago, we've been great allies ever since. What I'm getting at is we're not going to be hit by moving vehicles and chopped down by machetes. And we're not concerned as much about that. What we're concerned about is Illinois. We're looking around the condition of this nation with one eyebrow up. And we're looking and we're going, wait, why are we bringing people into this nation right now? Anyone who has a problem with defunding sanctuary cities, anybody who has a problem with the travel ban, the Muslim travel ban, the cutting back of refugees, anybody who has a problem with that, I just tell you, ask them how they feel about their fellow Americans in Illinois. Illinois has not drawn up a budget in 3 years. Illinois has colleges that are going to lose their accreditation if they don't get proper funding this year. Illinois has public works projects that are in the process of being shut down without a budget to fund them, which means a loss of 25,000 jobs in the state. Illinois has public schools that have no idea how they're going to be funded for the next school year. And they're running on almost no money. Illinois has not had a budget put together in 3 years. It is an economic collapse, just like we talk about, just like we concern ourselves with, right here in the nation, happening in one of the great states in the United States of America. Yet we're concerned about refugees in other countries. We're concerned about people coming from south of the border and getting on food stamps and getting on government whatever. Illinois has fallen apart. The state has fallen apart. They owe $15 billion to vendors. They got $15 billion in bills. They've got more than that. They have an ungodly amount that they owe in pensions. Now, you could say what you want about the pensions, whether you agree with the pensions or don't agree with the pensions, or that too much money in the pension. It doesn't matter. What it means when a state owes these people this much money in pensions, it means two things. It means money was grossly mishandled. It means they don't have the money to pay the pensions. But what does that really mean? What that really means is there's a guy sitting somewhere in some home in Illinois who thought that he was going to live a different kind of life than he's living right now. And he's not receiving that pension that he banked on. And maybe that affected how much money he put away. Maybe that affected how much money he spent during his life. Can you imagine the nightmare that is Illinois? A state in America It's a state in America that probably would look more at home in a place south of Panama. It's a failure. It's an economic failure. There was a Republican and a Democrat going head-to-head over this budget this year, and things must have been so bad that the Republican resigned. She left. She was the first female representation in history in the state, and she left at that position. Gone. Adios. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound like they came to a great decision for Illinois, does it? This is why we get concerned about immigration in this nation. And if you can't understand, if you can't put that together in your head, if you can't put the simple math together in your mind and say, oh, yeah, it's kind of a big deal, huh? It's kind of a big it's kind of a big deal when a nation has a state in it that's crumbling. The infrastructure, the housing, the job market, the actual education of the youth. You hear it all the time, right? You hear people, the same people crying over the travel ban, the same people crying over the sanctuary cities. You hear them cry about our children, about the youth. The education system needs more help. Why are we bringing in other kids? Why? You have to take care of your own first. This is why nationalism is on the rise, because people are out of their mind. People are out of their mind. Could you imagine your 5-year-old kid upstairs dying from the flu, and all he needs is a prescription? But rather than you shell out the money for a prescription, you go grab a kid off the street and bring him into your home and ask him what his favorite snack is. Hey, what's your favorite snack? Okay, I'm gonna go get you that. Your own son's upstairs in the bed dying. He's dying. All he needs is a prescription. But you've decided to put the money into snacks for some kid off the street. That is a perfect analogy for what immigration is doing to our country right now. I'm not saying immigration goes away forever, but I can tell you right now, we can't sustain it. It doesn't matter how much it hurts. It doesn't matter how many kids die. It doesn't matter. Don't you get that? It doesn't matter. If the whole of the nation comes, it doesn't even have to be the whole of the nation. If my fellow Americans in Detroit are suffering, if the children of Detroit can't even go to a school that's worth a damn, if the state colleges are crumbling and losing accreditation, what are we doing bringing in other people? What are we doing? This is why sanctuary city money goes away. This is why a travel ban doesn't hurt my feelings, because I think about the people of Detroit. I think about the people of the state of Illinois, and I say to myself, what must they feel like when they wake up to see the numbers on welfare? They wake up to see the numbers on immigration. They wake up to read about the barrels of food that are sent south of the border, the money that's sent south of the border. How can they feel? How can they feel? Doctors are owed money in Illinois. Medical services that are provided by state insurance. I got a state job, man. I'm living good. I got the good benefits package. That benefits package, Illinois is struggling. They owe doctors money for benefits paid out to their workers. This is part of that $15 billion that's owed. And we're bringing people in from all over the world, linking them up with services, not asking them to do a damn thing for it, not asking them to learn to speak a word of English, not asking them to get a job, nothing. Just come in the nation, take the money. Come in the nation, take the groceries. Come in the nation, take everything. Take it all. Don't speak a lick of English. Don't give any white people any respect. They're the reason you're here anyway. They stole your land. Listen to me. And that's all I'm going to talk about. You know, I'm not gonna, because I want to talk about something much better than this. A couple things. There's a couple other big stories in my mind. I'm going to attack the right next, okay? So don't get upset. Think about the people of Illinois. That's what I want you to think about over this holiday, right? You're flipping burgers, you're grilling the steaks up, kebabs on, you get the hose, you're spraying the children, you're kicking the balls around, whatever you're doing. Think about the people in Illinois right now who are looking around at the other people who are supposed to be their fellow Americans, right? Think about those people and what they're going through. 25,000 could lose jobs. 25,000 could lose jobs. Right? Pensions not being paid. You've got to put your kid into school in September, and you have no idea if the school's going to even be worth a damn. You have no idea if the school's going to even be around. On top of having to work, on top of having to do all the things that we have to do on a regular on a day-to-day basis, man. On top of all that, you've got to juggle the fact that, oh, well, my state's also falling apart. No big deal. The roads are a mess. The regular services that you've come accustomed to are falling apart. Terrifying. And we don't even have to go into the reason why Illinois is in the hole that it's in. The fact of the matter is, we don't need to be shoving money at other people, at foreign people right now, until we get our house in order. I don't think it's that outrageous. I don't think it's that outrageous. But I want to talk about something else outrageous. Because I watched an NRA video today that was one of the weirdest and most confusing and partially almost kind of dangerous things that I've seen. Now, I don't particularly know anything about Dana Loesch. I think that's her name, right? Dana Loesch. Super Second Amendment advocate, pretty popular girl on the conservative side of things. I think she has a show on the Blaze. She's doing her thing, right? That's good. She did a video, did a commercial or whatever it was for the NRA. I watched it on YouTube today. And it's her, just her, talking about making great points, right? Great speech, great talk about the left, about the progressive fascists that are haunting the streets of the country right now, right? And there's pictures of them committing violent acts, hurting people. You know, what we've seen, what we've all come to see, and some people have been gasping. They can't even believe the violence. We all knew it was a group of hateful people for a very long time, so it didn't surprise us. But we saw what was it? Wall Street. What was the thing called? I forget the movement. I don't remember the other movement. What was it called? Occupy. We saw the Occupy. We knew who these people were. Throw rocks, spit, poop on things. You know, they're monsters. But it's a good video portraying the threat, right? It's an NRA video now. And the video concludes with Mrs. Loesch or Miss Loesch, I don't know if she's married or not, whatever, saying that we can attack with the closed fists of truth, something to that effect. You know, push us, and we can, you know, sort of return fire with the closed fist of truth. And it really was sort of a build-up video to a retaliation. That's what I felt. I felt that it was nearly a warning in an NRA video. You know, you can push us, and eventually we're going to retaliate. With the closed fist of truth, is what she said. But it's an NRA video. So what does that mean? What are you saying? What are we getting at here? And how, you know, there's so many things about this video that was well done up until the end. Are you telling me that we're going to retaliate with the facts? Is that what you're saying? The closed fist of the truth. Is that to represent the facts? Is the closed fist of the truth to represent some guy who is right when other people are wrong, so he's going to beat their head in? You know, sort of taking like the Gavin McInnes angle. We're going to retaliate, and we're going to fight back, and we're going to punch you in your face. Or an NRA video, does that closed fist of the truth close around the hand of the I want to say the handle of a gun, the pistol grip of a gun? I don't know. That's the thing about it. I don't know. I don't know if she knows. I don't know if any NRA knows. What I do know is that was a creepy video. It left me feeling very weird inside. And I'm me. I'm as strong a Second Amendment supporter as there is. I believe it's really the most fundamental right of them all. But to me, it sounded like war. To me, it sounded like threats. To me, it sounded like a battle cry. Like the left's got their punches in, now it's time to get ours. You pushed us far enough, it's time to fight back. Coming from the NRA, that's a terrifying message. Going to people who are members of the NRA, it's also a terrifying message. Because I feel like the most responsible gun owners are going to be the folks who belong to the NRA. So why then influence them with this idea that people are getting beat up who support what they support, and it's our duty to do something about it with the closed fist of truth? I don't know. I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I put it up on Twitter. I was asking people how they felt about it. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who, yeah, man, fucking, let's get them. But this is reality now. You know what I mean? This isn't Fox News. This isn't the Blaze channel. This isn't YouTube video world. We're at a point in America where there are two sides who are chomping at the bit to kill one another. Literally kill one another. Those two sides are going to be face to face again. It's going to happen again. The opportunity will be there. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to see that. I have no desire to see that. There's no desire in me to see this sort of progressive versus conservative civil war in the nation that slowly escalates to the point where we have gunfire and gang violence in the streets. No desire whatsoever. And that's the thing about the closed fist of the truth. And that's what I really wanted to talk about in this show. The meat of this show is I wanted to get a point across to you when it comes to your fellow man. When it comes to your fellow man in the year 2017, as we go boldly into another year, another birthday of this great nation, I want to talk about the truth. And I want to talk about this idea that we can come armed with the facts. Armed with the facts. For a long time, a lot of people made a lot of money. They made a lot of money and wrote a lot of really cool books about how to fix the nation, right? Or how to respond to arguments from liberal people. How to deal with people who don't agree with their side, and how to tell those people who don't agree with them through facts and polls and percentages exactly why they should believe, or exactly why they were wrong and why I'm right. And for so many years now, we've been in this battle of I'm right, and here's why, and these statistics say so, and my books say so, and I've written these books, and these books are the blueprint to fix the nation. And if people read this, then they'll figure out how to fix it. We can fix it with the political world just by doing these things, and tariffs, and no tariffs, and trade deals. And if you run into one of these people that don't listen to the facts, you just have to sit them down, you just have to tell them the facts again. I've come to learn something about truth and about being armed with the facts that I've been reluctant to talk about. Because I don't want to take away from any man's hard work, especially not writing. Because writing takes a lot of work, man. It's a hell of an endeavor to write a really good book. And that's what a lot of conservative talk show hosts have done over the years. They've written really good books that pose really good ideas on how to fix our country. Hats off to them. They've done it. That's what they've done. But when it comes down to it, they've achieved absolutely nothing except padding their wallets. Right? What have they done? What have the Rush Limbaughs of the world, the Sean Hannitys of the world, the Michael Savages of the world, the who else? The Glenn Becks of the world. They've written some great books. The nation is at war, man. We're more divided than ever. We have a public on one side that wants to believe whatever their heart tells them, and we have a public on the other side that is well armed with the facts. And they get together and they fight. That's it. They just battle. They fight. Because we're missing the fundamental fact. Right? Facts are great, but they don't change people. You cannot be in the business of changing people. That's where these guys went wrong. In writing these books, they forgot the very fundamental thing about being human. And that is that we're not to change one another. It's not going to happen. Not only are we not to change one another, but we're going to fight that change, tooth and nail. You think about it. Well, let me give you the greatest example, right? I'll give you the sort of the alpha of examples. Atheists and religious people, right? Now, there's a general consensus out there on either side that one day, maybe not in 100 years, maybe not in 1,000 years, but one day science is going to figure out definitively that yes, there is a creator, or no, there is not a creator. The only thing that separates their ability to do that is time, right? So one day, let's just go with that theory that one day they find something in the universe. One day they read something, they get a measurement of some kind that can clearly define what happened before the Big Bang, or can clearly define what exactly the Big Bang was, can clearly define whether or not, yes, there was a creator, no, there was not. But when those results are shown, definitive, even it's a picture of the creator itself, once that answer comes to be, it does not mean that all the churches will be full or that all the churches will go empty. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? Once we find out for sure that there is a God, or we find out that there is not a God definitively, that still doesn't mean that the churches will all be full or they will all be empty. Because that's what humanity is all about. Right? We are not going to agree, even with the facts in our face. And the worst thing you can do, which is what these conservative talk show hosts have been trying to do, and what people on the other side have been trying to do for a long time too. We cannot make a difference in this world by running up to someone who's yelling something that you disagree with and telling them why they're wrong. Or getting into an argument with someone and telling them, well, 30% of Americans believe that, well, the truth of the matter is that 50% of my income goes to this program. The fact of the matter is that taxpayers are footing the bill. Nobody wants to hear it. That makes them double down on their belief system. That's what you have to understand. All of a sudden, we're doubling down now, right? All of a sudden, it's, dude, whatever. I don't want to hear your garbage. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. That's the reality. Because the reality is we're not going to change people. You cannot change people. I mean, there are some people who you can change, sure. But the vast majority of people, they might not even want to change. Even if they're wrong, they might not want to change. They might just be having a good time. Don't you understand that some people, especially on both sides, some people on either side of this game that we're playing right now, this very violent, very out of control game, where we have chosen our team and we've decided that our team is right. Some people just love playing that game. Some people just love being on that side. Some people just like to wear red. Some people like to wear blue. Some people like to scream and throw rocks through windows, and others like to stand and shake their finger at them. And facts are irrelevant when it comes to that. So what do you do? What do you do, Jim? How do we fix it, Jim? I don't know. No, I do know, actually. I'm not going to take the humble route. I do know. I do know, and I've been telling you for 4 years now. We cannot define the people closest to us through Fox News. We cannot define the people closest to us through CNN. We cannot define the people closest to us by their bumper stickers or by the music they listen to. What cracks me up, I see these neighborhoods, right? I drive through neighborhoods all the time. And I see these neighborhoods, and popping up in all these neighborhoods in response to Trump are these, we love our neighbors no matter if they're gay, straight, Muslim, whatever, list you're disabled, list your thing here. Plug in your minority. Black, Hispanic, doesn't matter. We love our neighbors no matter what. We will always protect our neighbors in this nation because we do not hate in the nation. Cool signs, they look cool, good message, whatever. These people don't even talk to their neighbors. They have no idea who their neighbors are. They don't even talk to them. They don't even say hi to them. They have no idea who they are. Guy two streets over, I have no idea what his name is, no idea who he is. He's never really home. I don't know. I know nothing about him. He could be a terrorist who wants to cut my head off. We love our neighbors. It's not even about that. This is why it's so important. Because at work, you don't know anybody, right? There's the veil of professionalism. You really don't know anybody. We have to get to know more American people. Period. That's the only way we can coexist. Excuse me. It's very late. I tried to take a ride up to my hometown, and it was a very bad move. I'm very tired from being sick and beaten by sickness. God, it's been weeks of sickness. I finally got better, and I tried to push the machine, and I got stifled by traffic, by 4th of July weekend traffic that was just unbelievable. Cars on the side of the road, tractor trailers pulled over, ambulances flying down the road, standstill traffic. I'm an hour and a half into the ride. I gave up. I said, we're getting nowhere. So I'm sure my parents will be very upset. My sister as well. I don't know. She doesn't seem too upset, but it's just what it is. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. I mean, grown people have to make grown people decisions, and this is one of them. Turn around. It's too damn late. What are you doing? Don't be an idiot. But we have to get to know the neighbors. I know it sounds stupid, and it sounds elementary, and it sounds too simple. Get to know the neighbor. What's that mean? This is what it means. What it means is that there are 300 million people in the nation. Right? We cannot define all 300 million on the 40 or 30 or so personalities that we see on a daily basis. That's what's happening in the nation. What's happening in the nation is we're seeing this small demographic of personalities who tell us what to think and how to think, right? These are your radio hosts, your TV show hosts, your late night hosts, comedians, actors, people of influence. We see them, and they're all telling us what to believe, what to think. They're telling us some facts as well, right? And sometimes it's really nice to listen to them and to follow what they say and all that stuff. But for the most part, they're leading us down this path of terror. And then on Twitter and on social media and on those news shows, they show us an even smaller demographic of people, the 1% or the less than 1%, who do wild, radical things, who beat people up because they're black, who throw bricks through windows because it's a conservative establishment, who attack and kill Muslim girls. And all of a sudden, we make these big, gigantic leaps about the people who live in this nation, the people who live around us, until we can begin to marginalize everyone around us. We can begin to say, oh, that's a stupid conservative white guy. I'm sure that he's a hateful, racist man. What? Or same for the other side, right? NPR bumper sticker, I'm sure that guy's a pacifist who'd give his life away to a radical Muslim if he came at him with a knife. Whatever you kind of scenario you come up with. You start to make these vast generalizations. And what nips that in the bud, what really and truly nips that in the bud, is for you to have a large swath of human experience to fall back on. For you to be able to fall back on people, real people, and say, well, that doesn't remind me anything of Donald from down the street. He's got an NPR bumper sticker on, and he's got an AR-15, and he likes to go hunting with me. And he likes to listen to jazz on the way to the spot. And you find out that there is a diversity in human beings, especially in Americans, that is impossible to categorize. But if you can categorize it, then you can capitalize on it, you can make a lot of money. Right? If you have the ability to segment the population and say, you're in this box and you're in that box and this is your enemy, then you can sell a lot of books and a lot of t-shirts and a lot of videos and a lot of airtime, a lot of advertising behind that. But when you get to know neighbors, when you get to know the people who live around you, and you get to know them, you find out, oh God, people are pretty interesting, pretty diverse. And I don't mean by skin color and religion. I mean by sheer experience and what makes them up. By sheer makeup, people are diverse. It's not as easy as like cartoons. We have one character who likes this, another character who does that, one character who's good at this. It's totally different. I'm going to give a lecture on this. I'm going to be giving multiple lectures on this. The power of the community. And if you're in the Hampton Roads area, on the 16th of the month, I'm going to be at the SGK Prepper Show and Gun Show at the Hampton Roads Convention Center at 1 o'clock p.m. I'll be talking about this very topic, the power of the community, and how it's the evolution, the next step for the prepper, and how it can save this nation. How by building more connected and cohesive communities, we can save the nation. If you like hearing about that stuff, if you like what you're hearing on this show, and you're listening, please subscribe, man. The more people who subscribe, the better it is for me, the better that is for you. That's all. Because I will tell you, there is a small piece of me, and it's a small piece, but it's a piece. I'm a quitter. I could say it completely fine and completely openly and happily. I'm a quitter because I'm a minimalist at heart. Because I've been in the fire, you know what I mean? And I know what it is to hang on to too much and to try to manage too much and to fail. And there are moments when I think to myself, I have this freelance writing career and it's treating me well, and I have this great family, I have these beautiful children, this beautiful wife. I live in this incredible state filled of lands that are dying to be hunted and fished. And sometimes I think, let's just put in my 30-some hours freelance writing and be done with everything else. I don't do anything else then. Let's cut it all off. Cut the podcast, cut the show, cut everything else. Goodbye. Twitters, Face, all that. Get it all out. I put in my 30, 40 hours in freelance writing, and then I'm done. And then I'm James Walton, do whatever I want. I think about that sometimes. It doesn't seem that bad. But I do enjoy doing the podcast. I do. I really do, getting on here and talking to you guys. It's a great outlet to sell books. You know, if you haven't read Surviving a Mass Shooting, you've got to read Survive a Mass Shooting. It is the blueprint, the best way that I could put it, to dealing with these active shooter situations. There was another one today, right? Mass shootings are solvable. Great fiction, Tom Locke, Our World. Great books that I really enjoyed writing, and I always will write books. And having a podcast and having a platform for people to buy those books and appreciate them, it's a lot better than writing books and selling them to your family. I will say that. You can get any of those books on my website, IamLibertyShow.com, if you're interested. But the truth of the matter is, it's like I tell you, it all comes back to the neighborhood, folks. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. You have to get to know your neighbors. Step one. Step one. We cannot live in a world of isolation where we decide who people are and what they're about by their Twitter accounts. Who people are and what they're about based on the fact that they did or didn't vote for Donald Trump. Based on the fact that they have a Hillary sticker on their car. Because you have no idea what percentage that sticker holds in their life, you know? You have no idea. To be honest with you, that is the phrase of the 21st century. When it comes to America and relations between the citizenry, or within the citizenry, rather. The truth of the matter is, we have evolved so quickly and in such an incredible way that the phrase of the 21st century when it comes to interaction is you have no idea. You have no idea. You come from a time where you thought you had an idea. This group of people listened to this music and did this thing. This group of people listened to that music and did that thing. When it comes to the 21st century, you have no idea. The access to information, the access to entertainment, the access to knowledge has changed it all. And you can't put your finger on it. You can't box it up and you can't categorize it. The only thing you can do is analyze it. And to analyze it, you have to get into people's faces. You have to talk to them about things. You have to talk to them about life. What do they like? What do they don't like? What are their favorite things? What do they hate? You have to talk to them like they're people and you're interested in them. And the more you get to know neighbors, the more you're going to understand this world, and the harder it's going to be for somebody to come to you and say, hey, you're on that team. Listen, you're on red team. You're on blue team. Fight. Fight. Fight with the closed fist of truth. Be an agitator. It gets real hard to divide when you start to understand who people are. And you start to come to the conclusion that for many things, there just aren't ways to agree. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's that simple. There are fundamental things that we must agree on, like murder. But for many things in this world, there are things we're simply not going to agree on. If you're married, you should understand this. If you have children, you should understand this. You're just not going to get along. That doesn't mean you can't exist together. That doesn't mean you can't go down to the community picnic and talk about the game. You can't go down to the community garden and have a good time. It's the fundamental issue of the 21st century. You have no idea. So, a couple things to consider as you spark up the Barbie. Okay? Consider your fellow citizens in Illinois. There's nothing you can do to help them at this point. You could probably donate money to some non-profits, that type of thing. But I want you to consider them. Because the news is going to be all about people from other countries and how they're suffering and how we can help them. If mean and old nasty Donald Trump would just let him come in the nation. I want you to think about Illinois. Then I want you to think about the importance of what we talked about in getting to know our neighbors and making it impossible for them to divide us, making it impossible for these markets to divide us. Because we can change this nation, and we will. And we will be a little bit of help from me, and a little bit of evolution, I think, but we're going to make it happen. So happy birthday, America. It's been a lovely ride thus far for me and mine. Like I said in the beginning, here's to many happy returns. Tilt the bourbon glass and enjoy yourself.